So this is the end of July backyard update, and we'll start with our containers. This is my lemon tree, one of the lemons out of the greenhouse. It's very happy, plants are growing. Most of my containers I put sweet potato in, and the plan there is to let them grow on, and then in the end of the season when I'm ready to dump them out, I'm going to put them in the terrace over there. But they're doing pretty okay. We have some little herbs popping up in between. We got lemon balm in there and baby dill happening. This is a nursery pot where I've started some things with some more, mostly basil, kapor, which is tulsi, some more opal basil. This is a large leaf, chives, parsley, some you have to like pause in your own handwriting. This is my bay of laurel. That appears to be pretty slow growing, but it's finally starting to put on some new growth, so that's cool. I'm just trying to keep it potted up as it needs it. More sweet potato. This little pot is a mishmash of things. You see amaranth growing up there. Got a little bit of sweet potato in, and some beets that have barely made a root. They're super sad. Sweet potato with an okra in here. So I was supposed to grow those in containers, but I just had an extra. I want to see what would happen, and it hasn't done anything. I don't know if that's because of nutrients or what. I wouldn't think it would stunt this early just because it's in a container. This little guy here, a little mishmash of things as well. That is a black cherry with some beans in there. I did prune it back pretty hard because the cherries are not ripening. Or tomatoes. The black cherries are not ripening. See, today there's just the first little blush on there. There are also cucamelons in here, and I really haven't got any fruit off of them yet. But I saw one earlier. But anyway, it's coming along. It's doing its thing. And then we have lots of volunteer anesthesia this year. This one's growing up in between my pots. And this one that got killed back pretty seriously by some frost, but came back strong. And then we're going to talk about the greenhouse. Other lemon tree blooming, doing really well. I believe this one is the Lisbon lemon. It's always been the healthier of the two, and I think the one over there is the Meyer lemon. Apple trees. I've been using milk spray on them to keep on a powdery mildew because they both have rust and powdery mildew. They actually seem to be doing better this year than they ever have, which is not saying a lot. They're still kind of sad. Those are ones I took out of the garden bed that were volunteers. So that's a red sunflower lemon balm. The gardenias actually put on like a little second blush of a couple of flowers, not a lot, not a ton. That's a black cherry. That's actually setting fruit in its pot. I should have planted these on ages ago, but life has been happening. These are a bunch of Romos that I started from cuttings. And these are also a bunch of seedlings I started that I should have potted on or planted out ages ago. But, you know, like I said, life is happening. Catnip I'm going to put out for Comrade, the accidental cat. Some peppers. I know it's probably too late to start peppers, but I was just going to see what happens. I mean, we might end up with a late winter like we had last year. So those are purple peppers. We have a bunch of chard that seems super happy. A couple of cilantros that seem to be hanging on. They've been burning up in every other place, like going straight to seed, not hardly putting out any leaves at all. A bunch of spinach, and then like a tangle of different brassicas. I got some cabbage and some red mustard, different cabbages. I'm gonna say there's some bunching onions in there, broccoli, the beans that have already gotten quite large. And peas, I was intentionally gonna let them grow on a bit. Oh, and I did a little difference. I let, I used the toilet paper and paper towel rolls to make this basically little cells for planting. And so I left these a little bit taller for things that I know grow roots faster to give me some time.
And then that seemed to work out well, so hopefully I'll remember to do that going forward. But I wanted to let these grow on so I could plant them down at the bottom of the yard. And they have, and it's like a huge tangly mess now, so that part of the experiment maybe is not the best. And then down here, some roselle that I need to plant out. It's hopefully for tea, coleus for the driveway. Some other things, there's Sumpter cucumbers, more peppers, pimento peppers though, and I think Minnesota midgets over there. And then as far as the things in the greenhouse, some Biltmore tomatoes, which Walter gave me that were pretty much dead. And I repotted them, planted them real deep. I've been keeping them watered and they seem to have come back and are looking pretty good. Pomegranate, you know, hanging on, growing, never looking super happy with its situation. So maybe if we get to plant it to the front, it'll be happier. Or die, one of the two. These are some cabbages I pulled out of the lower bed to put something else in, and some kind of bugs gotten it. I don't know if that's like a type of aphid or whatever, I don't know. This is the dead spot. These are actually tulip bulbs that have just been laying on the ground. I guess the squirrels have dug them out, so I just put them in pots and figure out where to put them later on. The baby pepper that I killed, that was one that Walter gave me that was mostly dead, so I don't feel super bad about that. The last celery in the greenhouse looks happy. More tomatoes I should have planted out forever ago. That's a Roma. I don't remember what these guys are. That looks like a black cherry. It's kind of leggy. That is a Minnesota midget melon or cantaloupe. And I pulled that out of the ground and didn't think it would grow, but I thought I'd pop it in a pot and see what happened. And it's been growing, although it looks like it's not getting enough sunlight, so I need to do something about that. Paprika pepper. This is a purple pepper, and I believe this is one I took out of the ground because it was really unhappy and replaced it with something else, and it seems to be super happy in the greenhouse because it's about to put some peppers on. There's another tomato that needs to be planted. And this is my lime tree, I believe. Looking super happy, very lush, with the exception of some woolly aphids, which I just learned what those were. We have these little fluffy white flying things, which are super weird that it's an aphid, but whatever. They're all over the place. This is their happy time. And then this is a cane that I took out of my lower bed, raspberry cane. And I think I managed to kill it. Yeah, it has a little bit of green left on there. So I'll let it hang out and see what happens, but it's not happy. And then this little pot right here is ginger and tulsi. And the ginger took forever to come up. The ginger inside my house came up a lot faster, so it really doesn't really like our outside situation. Lobelia that I started in a salad container because it was supposed to be a very temporary measure, and it's been here quite a long time.